This is a Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is being brought to you by Rainbow, and Rainbow is good bread. Today, I would like to dedicate this program to a special student at Central State University, the Honorable David Hall. David Hall, this is your show, and I do hope that you will enjoy it today. Well, Kansas is giving Oklahoma University all they want. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I know out there in radio land, you know what's going to happen, but I do not know. I do know that Kansas has made 2 touchdowns along with Oklahoma University. We do not know. But we do know that Sherry's Cleaners is located at 4905 North Martin Luther King Avenue. Sherry's Cleaners, a place where you can take your clothes in the morning and pick them up in the evening. A place where you can be satisfied because Sherry's Cleaners, noted for satisfied customers. That's Sherry's Cleaners, 4905 North Martin Luther King Avenue in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The Circle J Mini Mark and Ice Cream Store is located at 1600 Martin Luther King Avenue. This is a store that specializes in Bluebell ice cream. You can purchase Bluebell ice cream in all different flavors. You can also buy banana splits, sundaes, malts, and shakes, all at 1600 Martin Luther King Avenue. That's the Circle J Mini Mark and Ice Cream. And certainly the owners of Circle J Mini Mark Ice Cream would like to thank those of you in the neighborhood. Your support in the neighborhood has been unbelievable, and they are so proud that you have supported your neighborhood store. That's Circle J's Mini Mark and Ice Cream Store, 1600 Martin Luther King Avenue. Today's program belongs to David Hall, wherever you are. And if any of you know David Hall and want to say anything about him, remember our telephone number is 478-2103. Have you ever thought about what time of year this is? We're getting ready for the ghost. All the ghosts will be walking. And certainly I would ask you young people to be very careful. Make sure you do not go out alone. Make sure that you know exactly. Search that candy. Make sure you just don't get poisoned because we need you during the holiday season. Mrs. Letty Ruth Hunter would like to personally express her thanks to all of her friends that came through with that biggest chitlin dinner in the history of Oklahoma City last weekend. Mrs. Gloria Matthews says thanks. Mrs. Alonia Bennett, thanks. Mrs. Leola Ford, and the list grows longer and longer. But from the NACP Youth Council members, their advisors, they say thank you for your support. An appeal will be made to the churches to help the NACP Youth Council complete the paying off of their roof and central air conditioning. If you are a pastor of a church or a member of a church and you really want to do some missionary work and you would like to put those missionary funds in a good place, why don't you help the NAACP Youth Council? I would like for Mr. Leslie Brown to call me here at 478-2103. We have some questions about where the state NACP meeting will be held next week. Mr. Carter, I know you're listening down in Enid, Oklahoma. Now, it was reported to us that the state convention would be held in McAllister, Oklahoma, but if you have some different information, let us know. We do want to remind you that we have a barbecue place that's been at the same place for 29 years in Oklahoma City. We want to remind you that this barbecue place has had the same employees for 18 years. It's called Tom's Oaklawn Barbecue, the home of satisfied customers. For those who demand the very best, we specialize in barbecue ribs and barbecue beef. We specialized in baked beans, smoked baked beans, potato salad, and coleslaw. We are the original. Others duplicate. Open at 10 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. And they are also open on Sundays. That's at Northeast 10th and I 35. Tom's Oakland Barbecue. And while you're in, be sure and say a special hello to Blanche at Tom's Oakland Barbecue. And that's located at Northeast 10th and I 35. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and this is a show that you have been waiting all of the week. I know you must be excited to hear the news, and you can hear the news in a specialized form on the Clara Luper radio show. We cover many stories, and we cover stories that we feel no one else would cover, and that's why you have always listened to us. On Wednesday, October the 26th at 11 a.m., it was a quiet farewell to Mrs. Naomi Gaines Roth. The services were held at the 5th Street Missionary Baptist Church, 801 Northeast 5th Street, with Elder James Powell officiating. It came as a shock to many because this young lady was born in Troy, Ohio, moved to Oklahoma City with her family in 1957, where she grew up and attended Douglas High School and participated as a majorette and enjoyed styling hair as a cosmetologist. Graduating in 1971, she also enjoyed playing the piano and song in the St. John's Missionary Baptist Church choir. She was a proud mother of a lovely daughter, LaShonda. Yes, Naomi, the wife of Henry Roth Jr., who was a devoted husband, died last week, and services was held on Wednesday, October the 26th. The family, Henry Roth, her parents, Mrs. Virginia Burns of Nashville, Arkansas, her brothers, Larry Stevenson of Oklahoma City and Thomas Stevenson of Lawton, Oklahoma, her sisters, Devoria Johnson of Dale City, Patricia Hobson and Tawana Austin of Oklahoma City, would like to stop now and say to you, thanks for your many thoughtful expressions, your love, your words of kindness, and your prayers. And remember that your deeds will forever be remembered. We also have a thank you note from Mrs. Esther Watson. Mrs. Esther Watson, one of our great radio listeners, would like to say thanks because you remembered her during those dark moments in her life. You understood the closeness that existed between she and her sister Helen. And then when the time came, you were there. From Esther Watson and family, thanks for remembering us during this dark period in our lives. This program is being made possible today by Marie Weekly of the Petite Salon, located at 1917 Northeast 24th Street. Do you want to see some styles, some beautiful dresses? Then come by the shop at 1917 Northeast 24th Street where you can see for yourselves. Now remember, they have all sizes at the prices that you can afford. Next week, we will start our holiday special. And we would like to thank those of you that have said thanks to your customers through the years through the Clara Luper radio show. Next week, we will start our holiday specials. Did you know that Artie's Barbershop specializes in haircuts, men and women? Did you know that Artie's Barbershop specializes in curls and perms? Okay, now you know because I've told you they are located at 2712 North Kelly Avenue here in Oklahoma City. You can also see Johnny Harrod and Artie Hayes there in the Artie's Barbershop. Once again, they specialize in haircuts, men, women, and They will take care of little children too. What a barber shop. You know it too. Did you know there's a grand opening going on in Oklahoma City? It's a grand opening of the Louisiana Smokehouse, located at 3340 North Kelly. Now that's a grand opening of the Louisiana Smokehouse. And guess who's opening? The Mr. Johnny Johnson. Many of you remember Johnny Johnson, who worked for years at Leeway. Many of you will remember him by the fabulous stories that he can tell about his father. Did you know that if you would go by Johnny Johnson and get some barbecue sauce, that you will be dealing with some sauce that has been, the recipe has been handed down for 319 years, the four generations. Did you know that Johnny Johnson watched his father make that barbecue sauce when he was 12 years old and became a specialist himself? Well, don't take my word. Go down and see Johnny. That's at 3340 North Kelly. In talking to Johnny, I said, Johnny, you are in a neighborhood. Why did you come here? He said, because I want to see this neighborhood grow. I want to benefit the neighborhood. I want to be a part of the neighborhood. And one thing about Johnny Johnson, I want to treat everybody right, and I want to give the kind of service and the kind of food that people will come back. He's open from 11 a.m. to 12 midnight on Saturday, from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sundays. But all through the week, once again, he's open from 11 a.m. to 12. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and I've just told you about the Louisiana Smokehouse at 3340 North Kelly Avenue. Now, some of you have called me and you want to know about Miss Black, Oklahoma. We have started now enrolling for the 1989 Miss Black, Oklahoma, which will be on May 17th, 1988. This is a televised Miss Black, Oklahoma. Those of you that are interested in representing your cities, your colleges, universities, all you will have to do is to call Clara Luper, 424-3949, or write to me at Post Office Box 14099 in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's election time, and when we think of election, we think of the national election. But then when we sit down and look at it very closely, we must remember that we are affected more by our local election than anything else. And that's why I want to tell you about Bob Anthony, who is running for your corporation commission. Now, Bob Anthony is well known in the Oklahoma City area because he's been a neighbor, a friend, and a businessman. And now Bob Anthony wants you to remember him when you go to the polls to vote on Tuesday. Now that's the 7th, what is that, the 7th or the 8th of November. Remember when you go to the poll, remember Bob Anthony. Bob Anthony is a businessman and he understands the problems that face Oklahoma. Tom Pituski has also asked me to tell you that he appreciates all of the help that you have given him. He's running for county clerk, and he wants you to know how much he appreciates your support. Now, that support will end when you re-elect him as your county clerk on Tuesday. As we talk about the elections that are coming up, I want to hear from you today. Who do you actually believe that will win the election? Do you believe that the posters will be right and saying that Bush is going to win? Or will you Democrats give up? I sure would like to hear from you out there. I told you Democrats that you can win an election, but it's going to take a lot of hard, dedicated work. Now, many of you cannot vote because you didn't register to vote. You had all of the opportunities in the world, and now, in the words of some of the cheerleaders, too late now, too late. If you haven't registered, you cannot vote in this election. Tomorrow is Sunday, and I know that you will be going to your various churches across this state and across this nation. Some of you have fooled me. You told me you went to church, and I was thinking that you had gone to church and you had gone to church's chicken and hadn't thought about the church. I would appreciate it if you would go to church. Go to the church of your choice. It's something exciting. about the people that go to church. So be sure and go to church and go go to the church of your choice. Go go to the church of your choice. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show.
I'm voting for the new Alliance Party for president. I'd like to know what you think about that party.
Oh, I want to know what you think about the New Alliance program party. What do you think about it?
I really like Dr. Filani, and I think it's so good that even though she isn't going to win, I
How do
think,
you know she's not going to win?
well, it's going to be one of the big two,
Uh,
one of the major parties.
okay.
But I think it's so good that a educated black person is making a message like she is. That a black person can run for president as well as any white person, and a woman can run for president, not just a white man. And I like her ideas too.
Okay, what other ideas does she have that you like?
Well, her ideas are very similar to Jesse Jackson. She wants the state to not support. Um, she wants more done for the people and less done for warfare. She wants more money for social programs, more money for the homeless, more funds to help the minorities. She's for affirmative action. She's just seems to be for people.
Will she be on the ballot in Oklahoma?
Yes, she's on the ballot of all 50 states.
Oh, well, that's good news. I heard that she was only on the ballot of 48 states.
That's the libertarian.
Oh, the libertarian. What do you think about Dr. Paul?
I don't know much about his views, but I do know that he wants to abolish Social Security and welfare, so I'm not for that.
He wants to abolish the income tax, too.
Yes, that's what I've heard also, but other than that, I know very little about him. But Dr. Filani, I think, is an excellent candidate, and she is one of the few candidates that spoke in defense of Tawana Brawley in the New York incident.
Right.
And she's also wants sanctions against the terrorist state of South Africa. So she's really for the people.
Well, I really appreciate your calling, and thank you for your views, and we are anxious to see if there are others that feel like you do.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. This is Clara Luper Radio Show, and I just want you to know, I want to know how you feel. I don't make the news, I just report it. Well, I did make the news. I was appointed by the Honorable Governor of Oklahoma, Governor Belmont, as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Oklahoma Teachers Retirement System. And I made news. I really made news by being appointed. Oh, it was quite an appointment, and it was really something. I received letters and telegrams and flowers for everyone. I received a letter from Mr. Beavers telling me exactly what time I was to report in order that I could be sworn in. So on October the 26th at 1 o'clock, I was at the Teachers Retirement System building in Oklahoma City, located at 2801 North Lincoln. At that time, I was surrounded by my friends and my relatives. My lovely sister Onita was there. My children were there. My sorority was represented through Mrs. Esther Swain. My pastor was there, Reverend Fred Elkins. My other pastors was there, Reverend Dallas and Reverend Parker, and Reverend Dallas and his lovely wife, and Mrs. Nala Phillips was there. Oh, they were all there, plus representatives from all of my classes, which my classes are completely integrated, and we were all there. I was not asked to raise my hand to take my pledge, my allegiance, but I was finally sworn in. And then after I was sworn in, there was a lady there who had on a beautiful blue dress and her diamonds, and she asked the presiding officer, how did Clara Luper get on this board? Whose place is she taking? What are her qualifications? And then the presiding officer said that I had been appointed by the governor. And the lady turned her back to me. We were seated next to each other. She turned her back to me and stayed in that position during all of the meeting. In the first place, a person that has seen as much segregation and racism as I have, that didn't disturb me. Well, let me tell you the news. The next day, I received a call from the governor's office. And this call was an emergency call from the governor's office. I was surprised. I said, now, what does the governor want? It For a minute, I said, I know what the governor wants. The governor wants to congratulate me for going on accepting that. And I only accepted it after the advice of some of my friends, Charles Davis, uh, Letty Ruth Hunter, Mrs. Fowler, Senator E. Melvin Porter, Ira Holmes, and others. Yes, go on and accept it. See, I want to make this clear. I had not asked the governor for an appointment. I had not done that. The governor asked me if I would serve on that board. The governor asked me. I didn't ask the governor. Now, between the time that he asked me, I had to have papers notarized. I had to fill out all kind of investigation. I had to even dispose my finances, which was really looking good. Then the governor's call. And at that time, the governor notified me. Now, remember, I had served for a day and a half on that committee. I had a book as thick as you can think of. And the governor asked his assistant to call me and tell me that he had reneged on his appointment to me. Clara Luper, and I'll tell you more. Clara Luper's radio show.
Yes, this is Shelley, your daughter, calling with Gordon's Grocery Specials.
I've been waiting on this call, Shelley.
Thank you. The specials today are pork loin, $1.28 a pound, pork roast for 99 cents a pound, Swift chitlins, a 10-pound bucket for $5.99, pork sausage, a 5-pound roll for 88 cents a pound, and Corn King Franks for 59 cents a pound.
Oh, I'm really excited about that, Shelley. Tell me one more time.
Pork loin, $1.28 a pound, pork roast, 99 cents a pound, Swift chitlins, a 10-pound bucket for $5.99, pork sausage, a 5-pound roll for 88 cents a pound, and Corn King Franks for 59 cents a pound.
That's located at 2121 South Portland here in Oklahoma City. Now, many of you have traded with Burger Brothers. Mr. Gordon is up there. It's all the same, so when you go out, be sure and tell Mr. Gordon you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show. Shelley, you were out to the Capitol. You were out to the Teachers Retirement Building when I was sworn in, right?
Yes, I was.
What did you think?
I thought that it was a great experience for you, even though it was the shortest term in history. I think that a change should come about on the board, and they made an awful mistake by having you to resign.
Oh, well, I didn't resign now. The governor told me that I could no longer serve on that committee.
That's what I mean.
Did you see, how did the lady react to me?
She acted like she was very upset about the whole ordeal of you being appointed on the board.
How did you feel about it after you came home from school all sparkling and I told you that I had been kicked off the board by the governor of the state of Oklahoma?
It was disappointing to me for the governor to appoint you without doing his research to understand all the laws and bylaws of the committee.
Well, one thing about it, I am so proud to have been appointed, and I will have to finish telling the people what happened next. Thank you, Shelley, okay? Okay, bye-bye. Okay, let me finish telling you. And when this representative from the governor called me, and he said to me, why didn't you return my call? And I said, who are you? Who are you talking to? And he told me that he was from the governor's office, and I said it's on my agenda, but when I receive my calls, I go straight down the line. I don't care whether it's the governor, I don't care whether it's my student, I go straight down the line. He said, well, I just wanted to tell you that the governor has asked me to call you to tell you that you are not qualified according to the legal research that has been done to serve on the committee. And we are so sorry, we hate to embarrass you. And the qualifications are you will have to be an attorney, you will have to be a CPA, or a stockbroker. And we are so sorry, we don't want to embarrass you, and we'll put you on any committee. And I stopped him then, and I said, don't you ever think I'm embarrassed. I think you should be the one that's embarrassed. You don't know me. I come from a race of people that went through 236 years of slavery and was not embarrassed. The people that should have been embarrassed were the slave owners, the slave traders that went to West Africa and packed black people together like sardines and brought them to this country. Those are the people that should be embarrassed. The fact that over 10 million blacks died on the Middle Passage from West Africa to the United States and sometime coming through the West Indies. Do you think that I was embarrassed because I lived with years? I come from a race of people that lived with years of legalized segregation where black people could cook, but they could not sit down and eat and sleep. Who should be embarrassed? It should have been given to me, that word given to me when I was born. Don't you ever think I'm embarrassed about what white folks do. And he said, Miss Luper, don't get upset. I said, I'm not upset. You don't embarrass me. I think you should be embarrassed. And if the governor of the state of Oklahoma is so inefficient and his staff that they would appoint me to a board knowing nobody, it's no secret that Clara Luper is not an attorney. It's no secret that I'm not a stockbroker. You looked at my resume. I sent you my resume. And then he said, well, we got a new law, and this law says that only one teacher can serve on that board and one retired teacher. I said, well, if you, on the kind of salary you are on, the kind of responsibility that the governor has, and you all didn't know that between the time that I was appointed, we have an inefficient governor and a staff. Now, I think you all should be embarrassed. Now, I'm going to tell everybody in this state that is exactly what happened. We have a governor that appointed a poor school teacher to the board of the retirement board where the teacher's money is located. And because of the fact, I know it was some pressure because from the moment that it came on out in the newspaper that I was appointed, I got the traditional calls, nigger, you don't belong on that board. We don't want no poor niggers on the board. I got those calls. And evidently, these calls stirred an investigation. So yesterday, I called Mr. Beaver, the executive director, and I said, pull the record. Every time a person is appointed on the committee, is that person investigated? Did you go back and study the statutes? Well, naturally, he suffered from amnesia, and since he was an employee of the governor, he could not give me an opinion. But I say that I want to know for sure. And then after we looked at the facts, I become the only person that has ever served on the board for 1 day and a half. 1 day and a half. And those of you out in radio land, I want you to congratulate me for serving 1 day and a half. Now, I'm not going to change. I do not have to grin at the governor, and that goes for, well, that governor, Republican and Democrat, and scratch my head, and Uncle Tom, because if I had stayed on that committee, I sure would have had some questions. I want to know why is it that we don't have some black lawyers, some black representatives sitting there making that kind of money. Well, I told you, so if you want some further information, ask the governor of Oklahoma. And if the governor of Oklahoma treats everybody like he did Clara Luper, I don't know what to say. Well, that's the story. I don't make the news, Governor Belma. I just reported it. And if you think, and I'm talking about the governor, I'm talking about his administrative assistants, I'm talking about that lady from some little town in Oklahoma that didn't want to sit by me, that turned her back to me, I want to tell you one thing. You were embarrassing, not me. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. Hello?
Yes. Why don't you sue the governor? He has plenty of money. He's giving it away to the Republican Party.
Oh, I don't want to sue the governor. That's not that important to me.
You're not afraid to sue him.
Why would I want to sue him? Because in the first place, I know I'm not a dummy. And I know that the governor of Oklahoma had to have some pressure put on him to get me off of that committee. Now, you know, and the people in Oklahoma know, that I have not been appointed to committees like other blacks that have kept their mouths closed about the inequities that exist in our society. And many people in Oklahoma remember that I was on the Oklahoma City Human Rights Commission, and at that time the city had instructed the committee to go out here and look at the other companies that discriminated. And I made a motion that in place of going out to the other companies, let's look at Oklahoma City, because at that time we had no blacks in the city mayor's office, the city manager's office, and the city attorney's office. And Cecil Williams seconded that, and those people got so angry they kicked Cecil and I off the committee by dissolving the committee. And I do not see how blacks can sit on these committees without calling the committee people attention to the inequities that exist in our society. And I think that I'm going to get a lot of support for women and serving on committees on as judges. For example, the Criminal Court of Appeals. They don't have any women, and I'm talking about white women that applied for the job, because Oklahoma is suffering from an 18th century mentality where they only think that men, white males, can do it. If you doubt that, check your records, see how many black males, with the exception of 2, have been appointed on any kind of committee in Oklahoma. So I don't want to sue the governor. I just want everybody to know.
Why don't you make the governor give somebody some jobs?
That's y'all's job. You all worked for the governor.
I haven't worked for no governor.
Oh, so Governor Belma.
He's not my governor.
Oh, yes, he's your governor. He's my governor, too. That's why he appointed me.
He's not my governor when he puts up all the senior citizens program, and he's following to this. He's not my governor.
Okay, well, I don't know.
That's people's governor in Oklahoma.
Well, anyway, I've told the governor, and this as administrative assistant, what I thought of him, and so it's left to the rest of you.
I thought that was terrible the way he done you. You was in the white paper and the black paper and everywhere else. I thought it was terrible for him to do you like that. I don't appreciate it.
Well, see, it was not only the governor doing it to me, but it's the same feeling that I had when I was in Washington when I heard Jesse Jackson speak. Because here they turned down a man that had registered, millions of people to vote, and said, okay, you're a good man, but. So the governor said to Clara Luper, I'm going to put you on this committee, I'm going to appoint you, and I want you to come by the NACP office and see this big appointment. I have all of it on exhibit, because I'm going to talk about it as long as I live. I'm going to really talk about it.
You can't get a favor out of the governor. You can't get the governor to put 5 black people on a half a day through the state. He doesn't do that, he says. He doesn't have black women who need jobs, who are senior citizens. No.
Well, I know one thing. I served.
I'm really angry about that. I'm angry because you deserve that. You're a very highly skilled person, and you don't need to be a lawyer to be put on there. How many lawyers has she got on there?
Well, one thing, I don't know anything except I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a stockholder, I'm a stockbroker. But from the looks of that committee and from listening at the proceedings, I knew about as much as anybody else. But anyway, I've said it, it's out, and then all of you that want to call the governor, be sure and tell him that Clara Luper said that she doesn't believe that the governor could make that kind of mistake, because it's no secret. I've told the whole world, and everybody knows that I teach school at John Marshall High School. So to tell me that you put me on a committee thinking that I was an attorney or CPA and all, that is the biggest Halloween joke of the year. That's a Halloween joke. Well, anyway, thank you so much for calling, and thanks most of all for visiting with me. Okay? Okay. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and speaking of a show, we are the show that tells you exactly what's happening, because we are starting thinking now about the holidays. And when we think about the holidays, we think about a pre-Christmas fashion show that Mrs. Dillard is going to tell you about, Mrs. Maddie Dillard. Yes, tell us about it.
On November the 5th, I am presenting a pre-Christmas fashion show in November at Central Plaza Hotel on Martin Luther King and Reno. And I want you all to come out and see Christmas in November. Some of my models will be Emma Eberson, Jamel Jones, April Jones, Andretta Eberson, Ron Havish, Tracy Dillard, Dee Hunter, the owner of Dee Salon, and many others. Yours truly, Maddie Dillard.
All right, you got to tell me that again. I'm so excited about it. You're going to have a fashion show when?
November the 5th,
What are you calling it?
pre-Christmas in November.
Okay, pre-Christmas in November. All right, where will it be?
The Central Plaza Hotel on Reno on Martin Luther King in Reno.
All right, who will be some of your models?
Dee Honda, the owner of D Salon, is modeling
D is modeling?
her fur collections.
Oh, my gracious.
Tracy Dillard,
Tracy, I know that would be a short one.
Ron Harris,
Ron Harris is... Oh,
Jamel Jones,
Jamel Jones.
April Jones.
April is modeling.
Yes, and
Okay.
a big surprise,
Okay.
Emma Epperson.
All right, that is terrific.
She don't know she's modeling now.
Oh, she doesn't?
No, she
Well,
doesn't.
she knows it now.
She'll be
because
called
she can
on
hear
when
it-
she get there.
She can hear it on the Clara Luper radio show. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to check with my optometrist. I am the best optometrist, Dr. A.L. Dial, located at 934 Northeast 8th Street. And I would like for you to do the same. Call him for an appointment, 235-0536, Dr. A.L. Dial, here in Oklahoma City, a man that's not afraid to stand up for what he believes. Now, once again, this show will be held where, Maddie?
Central Plaza Hotel, Martin Luther King in Reno,
And when?
April the 5th.
No, April the 5th.
No,
April?
I'm thinking
Are
of
you?
the
Yes, you're
spring
thinking.
show.
You're thinking of the spring
November
show.
the 5th.
November the 5th. At what time?
7:30 p.m.
Is it true that you will be giving away free door prizes and the people will be eating orders?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's exciting. How much are the tickets?
Donation $3.
The donations are $3. Well, you better pick up. Let me see. Maybe the governor will take me to that fashion show. I don't know. I don't know what will happen. Well, anyway, the donations are $3, and all of this will be on Saturday, November the 5th. Is that correct? Well, thank you so very, very, very kindly. Today's program is a very special program because today I've told you about some things that are happening in our own city. This is the Clara Luper radio show. In a few minutes, I will be talking about Medical Center State Bank. Clara Luper?
Good afternoon, Clara Luper. This is Mrs. Hunter. How are you doing?
Oh, Mrs. Hunter, I am fine.
Good.
After working on that big job for a day and a half, I am really fine.
Oh, fine. What kind of job?
Oh,
What kind of half job?
Okay, as a member of the board, the Retirement Teachers Board.
Oh.
You were there when I was sworn in. What did you think?
Oh, I thought it was just a wonderful idea, and then the program was just terrific, and the swearing in was, I thought it was just really nice, but I only wondered why. I had some wonders about one or two of the little things, but sometimes the processes have changed.
Oh, yeah, so I didn't have to raise my hand.
No, you have to raise your right hand.
I just had to
So maybe
raise
that's
it.
why you just had the job for a day and a half.
Okay. What did you think? I noticed when that lady asked that question. Tell me about it.
I really and truly, I wondered why. I said, now, why? I think if someone was sworn in with all of the people that were present, and then she would wonder, why were you being sworn in? You know, the governor or somebody had to make the appointment. And she wanted to know, well, why is she here? And the man said, well, the governor appointed her, so there's nothing we can do. This is an appointment of the governor. And she really let us know that she wasn't interested in some other career other than she being on that board. That was the thing that I got, and we had started out, and I said, let me sit down and see what they're going to say about this, because it was just really open that you could tell that there were some prejudices in there.
Well, when I saw you and Esther's face, and my sister's, Onita, because I think it was the way she said it, don't you?
Well, yeah, because she was letting them know, well, we don't need, we don't need nothing like this on the board, So I'm just wondering why. But, we live with those things, Clara, because I'm facing them every day. So,
okay, I understand that you're now part of that not affirmative action. What's the name of your committee?
It is. It's affirmative action and equity.
Okay, now.
They are combined. However, according to the meetings that I attended, the equity committee meetings that I attended, because, this is free service. We're not getting paid any kind of compensation for it. We don't even get refreshments. We put in the pot so that they can have coffee and
okay, well, one thing I want to, Letty, what I want to know is I've been told that there's a school in Oklahoma City where the kids are taking industrial arts and there aren't any seats. They have to sit up on top of a table.
Well, I didn't know that until yesterday.
Is it true? Is it true? That's what I want to know.
Sitting on top of the tables, and them tables, they were calling them benches. And I'm in this classroom looking for benches. And I said, where are the benches?
And how long do the kids have to sit on top of those tables?
For a whole hour, and they're supposed to sit on that table and read a book.
Read a book on top of the table?
Sitting on the table, sitting at the table. Now, the tables are at least, I guess 4 feet high, however the height of a drain board, because you have to. I said, well, let me get up on this bench. So I had to put my hands down and kind of push myself up, and my feet didn't even touch the floor.
Now, what grade are these students in that have to be in a classroom with that?
This is at the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students are in this school. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students are in the school. And I'm just wondering, how could a child sit there a whole hour, his feet hanging down and not touching the floor, no back to lean back on for a whole solid hour, and then hold a book and read it and keep his composure? I just couldn't see how that could happen. And then, you all take some kind of program called effective teaching? What do y'all call that program?
Well, that program belonged to the Board of Education because they brought some. I'm not gonna even call that because I feel somebody really learning.
Was it effective teaching?
It was called effective teaching. That every child can learn, but every child got to learn how to sit on a table.
Yeah, but I don't believe. But Mrs. Luper, this effective teaching, to me, this is where it should start to me. To be an effective teacher, to teach effectively, when you walk into a classroom, you would address your class, good morning. To me, that would be your first step. Now, I go over to a school, and I wasn't even greeted by the principal. And my hair is white, my face is black. So you couldn't take me for a student. And I think that at least the courtesy that you should get is to say, just good morning to whoever the adult is. Because the children, if we don't have the children, we don't have any jobs. The children make the jobs. And where do the children come from? The children come from the parents. So if you're going to be disrespectful to the parents, how can you be respectable to the children? Because
I don't know, but I know one thing. I can say one thing, that you have told the radio audience. Did you see it with your own eyes, or you talking hearsay?
No, I went in that classroom and I'm just looking at them. So he said, "What are you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for the benches," because to me, like I have out in my room a picnic table, and then I have a bench that goes with the table. So this is what I'm looking for: the benches that went with the table. No chairs in there, no benches. Now, to me, those were work tables. To me, because of the height, I didn't believe that they made benches that high from the floor for students to sit on.
Okay, now.
And the entire class, not just one person, but the entire class is sitting on the benches, as he called them.
Well, when you go into the
tables, as I call them.
Okay, now you have been into the schools. Are you received with open arms and with encouraging words? You aren't.
No.
Well,
very, very cold.
Very cold. Well, I can.
Cold. And I feel that, at least the least that you can say to a person is good morning or good afternoon.
And some of the teachers don't even speak to you. Hey?
Just walk right on. I'm not worried about the teachers. I'm talking about the administrators.
The administrators. Oh, I see.
In the office.
Oh, I see. Well, I want to say this about the members of the Board of Retirement. The members were very kind to me, with the exception of this one lady. There were many on there that I had known and I had met through various areas. They were very kind. Mr. Beaver took my husband, Reverend and Mrs. Dallas, and Mrs. Nala Phillips through the building. We met a staff, and the staff was very friendly and very kind. I want to throw that out.
Well, I'm looking for that kindness that you're talking about, Mrs. Luper, because, I'm going to give you a hypothetical case. Do you have minutes? I'm just going to be making it real short.
No, don't make it hypothetical. Tell the truth so the people will know it. Tell me exactly what happened.
If I would call you and say, now, Clara, there is a man over there that's rooming with you that you need to kind of see about because he has something that is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want you to tell the man that I said it. So you just go out and talk with him and see if the situation is like this. Now, I don't want you to tell nobody that I said it. Then at the end of the day, your daughter, Mary, walked in and said, Mrs. Hunter, so-and-so Clara told me that you said there was a man doing this. And those were my words. Now, who could tell that if you didn't tell it, Clara?
Well, I certainly wouldn't tell it because I
could tell it if you didn't
I wouldn't tell it. So you have administered.
I came to you and I said, now, Clara, you said that I didn't tell it. I said, well, either you had to tell it because those were my words, or either the lady was listening on the phone when we were talking, and that's against the law.
Okay, now you're saying in Oklahoma City, in the school system, we have administrators that cannot keep confidential material.
Did not.
Oh, that did not keep it.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I know if I tell an administrator something, I sure expect my administrator to keep it. If not, I'm upset.
And you know, he's one of the top, near the top official. I couldn't believe it. So I don't have any trust in that person anymore.
Well,
I
anyway,
can't trust that person because to me that was something that was actually happening, and I was sharing the information just for them to check it out, so there wouldn't be any further repercussions.
well, one thing about it, Mrs. Hunter, we are happy to have you on that committee, and we want to keep reporting, but we must call names and places and time. And I would like to let everybody know that the school that we've been talking about is a Jefferson Middle School.
And why I talk about that school, because you know your daughter went to that school.
My daughter went to that school, you're right.
And this is why that.
But she never had any problems, because if she had, you would have heard about it.
Was that the same principal that's there now? Maybe you had a different principal.
No, but so I was there. But anyway, I'm going to have to let you go. I would like to say thank you, and most of all, thank you for being with me on that big day when I was
But I hope that this effective teaching that you have trained for, that you will start to putting it into.
Now, that's not mine. Now, that's not mine. I didn't need anybody to come up here from Mississippi and tell me how to teach effective, because I do have some diamonds that are out of sight, and my diamonds are shining.
The main thing about it, the board paid for all the teachers to go to that workshop and take that workshop.
It was a waste of our time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
This is the Clara Luper radio show, and this part of our show is being brought to you by Marilyn Hildred, your Allstate insurance agent. Marilyn, wherever you are, I heard that you got some publicity from the principal out of Millwood yesterday. First time in the history I've ever heard of anybody telling Allstate to recognize an Allstate at a homecoming assembly. This is the day that I've dedicated my program to Mr. David Hall. Now, we come to the kind of stories that we do not like to tell. We remember quite well a few years ago when we told you, for the first time in Oklahoma City's history, we would have a minority-owned bank. I need not to tell you our happiness and our joy. And I will be back to finish the Medical Center State story in just a minute. In the meantime, this is Clara Luper.
Yes, I just wondered I enjoy your program, and I want to congratulate you for being appointed by Governor Bellman to the board.
Yes.
And I just wanted to know who you were supporting for president.
Who am I supporting for the President of the United States? I'll have to check my good white folks and my black to decide who I'm supporting. Because, see, sometimes you support people one way and then you think of another one. I don't know. Who are you supporting?
I'm supporting a Democrat,
Oh, what Democrat?
Dukakis.
Oh, you're supporting Dukakis. Do you think you're going to win it?
Well, we hope so. He's got to come back. We need your vote. He's got to come back like Harry Truman did in '48.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Dukakis is no Harry Truman.
No, he's sure not. Or no Jack Kennedy
No.
either. Or
no
Reverend Jackson.
Reverend Jackson. Well, I discussed Jesse Jackson with some of my good white friends who are Democrats in Oklahoma, and they told me they couldn't support Jackson because he couldn't win.
Well, I think they were wrong. I think he could have won because he has a lot. He knows the issues, and he knows. He just. Dukakis.
Well, what I've been trying to do, I don't mean to cut you off, but what I've been trying to do is to get some of the Dukakis people or the Bush people to come here and talk to the 600,000 people that I talk to every Saturday. But one thing I can say about these politicians, they don't like to spend their money on minority or on small stations. See, all of the money is spent with the big television people and big stations. They have forgotten about the little people, and certainly KBYE is here, KPRW and others, and also minority newspapers. We have the Ebony Tribune and we have the Black Chronicle, and I do hope that the politicians will spend some of their money with the minorities and the poor people so everybody can get the message, okay?
Okay, well, thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you. Now you know who I'm going to vote for. Let me ask you, who am I going to vote for?
I hope Dukakis.
No, I'm not talking about hope. Who did I tell you I was going to vote for?
You didn't tell me.
Thank you so very kindly. Okay, bye-bye. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and let me continue with the Medical Center State Bank story. It was on this radio station that we told you how happy we were because we saw blacks begin to move ahead in the Oklahoma City area. We had a black-owned radio station, KAEZ, and now we had a black bank. We appeal to many of you to get behind and support the bank. Many of you deposited money in the minority bank, but many of you did not. Many of you tried to support, but many of you did not. But anyway, the bank had some wonderful people, and I would like to congratulate the board of directors, the various staff members, and all of the courtesy that they gave to the people. But then in Oklahoma, we have watched banks and savings and loans go under. We saw the First National Bank. We saw Citizens National Bank, and now it came home to the northeast side of Oklahoma City. Now we have a new bank. It is a minority-owned bank. It's owned by the same group that own the American State Bank in Tulsa. Mr. Smith was to be with me today, but because of the FDIC and the takeover, he could not make it today. I'm happy to report that all of your money is safe at Medical Center State Bank. All of it is safe. Now, those of you that have over $100,000, you might suffer a loss. And many of you have called me because you've seen me at the bank all of the time. I do have my accounts at Medical Center State Bank, and you say, Clara, did you lose any money? Of course not. How could I lose when I didn't have $101,000 in any account? In fact, if I add all of my accounts, I would be just like you. I couldn't come up to that mark. So your money is safe at Medical